Today, we're digging into something called the EPX method. It's a really interesting framework that's all about one thing: reprogramming your career by reprogramming your mind.
So let's just jump right in. Does this question hit home for you? Maybe you feel like you're doing all the right things, putting in the hours, but that next level, that promotion, it just feels like it's always just out of reach. It's a super common and honestly a really frustrating place to be. Now, here's where the source material we're looking at today gets really interesting. It makes a bold claim. It says the thing that's really holding you back, it isn't your resume, it's not your skills or your years of experience. Nope, it's something much, much deeper. It's the beliefs you have about yourself.
And that idea brings us straight to the core problem this whole method tries to solve. Why do so many talented, hardworking people hit a wall in their careers?
This question here, this is pulled directly from the source material. But what's fascinating is that instead of just listing out 5 reasons, the material quickly pivots. It suggests that all those reasons, they're just symptoms. The real root cause behind all of them, it argues, is your belief system. So this question is really just the starting point. Okay, so if the problem is buried deep in our beliefs, then what's the fix? Well, this is where the source introduces a framework it calls the EPX method. So what is it? Well, EPX stands for Evolve, Productivity, and Excellence. And the whole idea is that you can't just work harder to get ahead. You have to work on your mindset first. The theory goes that once you change your core beliefs, your productivity and the actual quality of your work, your excellence, they just naturally level up.
So this EPX method, it's not just one thing. It's actually built on 3 different, but connected, ideas. The source calls them the 3 pillars of change. Let's break down what they are. All right, pillar number 1 is hypnosis. And look, we're not talking about some stage show with swinging pocket watches here. The way the source frames it, hypnosis is just a tool, a way to get into a state of really deep, focused attention. The whole point is to kind of quiet down your conscious, critical mind so you can access the subconscious, because that's where all those deep-seated beliefs about what you can and can't do are hiding.
Next up, pillar 2, neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP. The easiest way to think about this is like rewriting your own internal software. NLP is all about the language you use inside your own head. That little voice that's always talking. It gives you tools to spot the negative, limiting patterns in your thoughts and then consciously change them. And the third and final pillar is behavioral science. This is basically the diagnostic part of the process. It's about being a detective and taking an honest look at your day-to-day habits. What triggers your self-doubt? What situations make you procrastinate? Once you actually understand those patterns, you can start taking them apart.
So here's the key. These 3 pillars, hypnosis, NLP, and behavioral science, they're not meant to be separate things. The real power of this EPX method, according to the source, is how you weave them all together into one process.
And you can see how it flows right here. Step 1. You use behavioral science to do the detective work and figure out what your limiting beliefs actually are. Step 2. You use NLP to actively reframe that internal voice. And finally, step 3. You use hypnosis to really lock in those new, more empowering mindsets at a much deeper level.
So what does this actually look like? Well, a person might start out with those classic stuck beliefs, right? Things like, I'm just not qualified for that, or everyone else is so much more skilled than me. The goal of this whole process is to transform those into something totally different, into beliefs like, I am constantly developing the skills I need to excel, and I have unique strengths that are valuable. It's a huge shift.
And ultimately, all of this internal work, it's all designed to get you a very real external result, which brings us right back to where we started, clearing that path to a promotion. This right here is the whole idea in a nutshell. The source basically says, stop chasing the promotion. Instead, focus on changing your foundational beliefs about yourself. The argument is that when you truly, genuinely believe you're capable and valuable, your actions, your productivity, your excellence, it all just naturally rises to meet that belief. And that's what makes you the obvious choice for that next step.
And for anyone whose interest is piqued by all this, the source material wraps up with this very direct call to action. It points you toward the next step if you feel like you're ready to get started.
So as we finish up, I'll just leave you with this to think about. Seriously, take a second and ask yourself, what is the one single belief you have about yourself professionally that, if you could just flip it, would change absolutely everything for your career? Definitely something worth chewing on.